Hello YouTube, this is Charlie426 and today we have the review of the P-Bandai Exclusive or P-Bandai Exclusive HG Oltlinde. Now I hope that's the exact or correct, at least somewhat correct pronunciation, because once again I'm basing the current pronunciation based on my pre-order name that was in Korean, so yeah. So this unit you see in front of you is not actually seen in the main anime that we saw. For those who've played the G Generation Cross Race, I think, might have actually seen this unit or actually used this unit. But once again, for those who have, you can definitely say or tell that this isn't exactly a special unit. There's nothing too special about it, other than the fact that this is a Valkyrie frame, which we didn't really see too much in the main anime series. So yeah, so this was released in P-Bandai, and let's see what we got. So as usual, let's go over the components. So first of all, what you get of course is obviously the main unit itself. Definitely liking the overall aesthetics and looks of it. Now keep in mind there won't be any comparisons because once again, while I have some experience with the high grade Iron-Blooded Orphan kits, I did not review any HG Valkyrie frame, which were technically, there's only 2 units out there to be fair, or 3 at this point. So yeah, there won't be any. There won't be any comparisons. While I may not have tried the HG Valkyrie frame, I have tried the 1/200 scale full mechanics frame, and I did really enjoy that compared to the Gundam frames. So yeah, I do have some positive ideas on the frame itself. All right. So other than that, you start with multi-purpose hands, and then hand-wise, you get one more additional. Open style hand. So that's pretty much it for the hands. And then weapon wise, these are your pretty much, oops, sorry about that. So here is your main weapon. So this is the main weapon, and it's interesting enough, it's a dual double-sided blade or dual side blade or something like that. But once again, the manual constantly mentions, there are some descriptions of the weapons, they constantly mention that this weapon was supposed to use the dainsleif. I'm not sure how it's supposed to use it, but originally it was supposed to use it, but after the war it got banned, so they had to repurpose the weapon to be on its own, so like a blade weapon. So you can open these sections up, which I'm not too sure what they're supposed to do, but in the game they do open up and like emit electromagnetic fields or something like that, so I'm not sure what they do, but once again, this is the combined version, and then you do get a separate version as well. So yeah, so if you want to have a dual blade, dual wield the whole weapons, you can do that as well, and these ones also do open up on their own. So pretty neat idea. So once again, this has been repurposed, so I'm not sure how it's supposed to use it. If it did have the dainsleif version, maybe this was supposed to turn and maybe fire like an arrow, or who knows. Once again, dainsleif, nothing too special about the weapon. It's just a railgun, but instead of shooting a round, it shoots a, a spear kind of thing. Alright, so here we have the sticker sheet. You can see you do have a few options here, but once again, I decided to go with the more clean option as well. So, and then here we have this black stickers on here, which it goes onto the chest area, which I did use. The rest are for the visor / head, but you do have options here. So yeah, I'll get into that later. And then here is one of the leftover parts here. This is the original Valkyrie frame head or eye unit. And then here are some more leftover parts from the frame. So I assume this is for the shoulder part. Now once again, I'm based on my memory, but just guessing here. We have some leftover polycaps. We have a few more joints. And then we have these 2 parts, which I'm not too sure what they are, but once again, they are leftover pieces for some reason. Alright, so now let's go over the review now. So let's look at the unit. So let me get off the stand. Now, I would suggest if you plan to display this on your collection, I do suggest you have a action base, because once again, I'm going to start right off the bat. The feet are one of those high heel feet, and there's like a lot of moving parts here. So if you want to make it stand properly, you do need to match a lot of things here. So just wanted to point that out. Alright, so let's start with the head. So once again, being a Iron-Blooded Orphans kit, and this is one of the most few clean kits out there as well, based on my memory. But once again, I did enjoy the Valkyrie frame and the 1/100 scale, so once again, I have no negative ideas on this other than the feet here, but still. Alright, so for the head, you have 2 options here. So you do actually get a clear green plastic piece for the visor. So you have 2 options here. So once again, you can see number one, you apply the silver sticker inside the frame, and then you cover it up with the green clear plastic piece. Or you don't apply this, but on the visor you apply this sticker onto top of the visor. Once again, I always feel like it's always a waste to apply stickers on top of clear pieces. So what I did was that to go with option 1, but instead of using a sticker, I actually have some metallic silver or chrome silver Gundam marker. So that's what I used and then applied it here. Now once again, you do see a little bit of shine inside the head there, but once again, if you want to have more detail like in the game or thing, I guess you could use the number 2 sticker there if you want to. But once again, it's really up to your preference, and here are those black stickers that are supposed to go onto the chest. Alright, so at first I thought this was supposed to be like a knightish design, but the more I look at it, it kind of has that Robin Hood feel, so more of a archer feel. But once again, that's just me. So alright, so the head is actually pretty interesting. It's actually instead of your typical, well-balanced or proportionate sized head, this is actually like a head that's kind of on the long side, like top to bottom long as well, instead of like long that's front and back style. But once again, I don't think this affects the articulation too much, but still it can go down that much. Pretty well done, up pretty well as well. 360, I'm gonna say no, because there is a lot of parts blocking and getting in the way of each other, but you can kind of force your way through by going in an angle and do this. But once again, I would say not the ideal way. And then yeah, and it's a nice touch to actually have this yellow antenna piece on top. So once again, gives that more of a Robin Hood feel as well. Alright, so now for the main body, you do get because of the overall Valkyrie frame, or the overall frame system we got here on the Iron Blood Orphans kit. So once again, you do get a nice ab crunch going on here as well. So going upwards, you can go really up, and then downwards, not as much, but still just enough for what this kit does. And then 360 should be no problem. Now once again, like for the Gundam frames or most frames, I always had the issue with the waist here, because the waist would always get like loose very quickly for the Gundam frames. But for this one, I think this will last a little bit longer. So yeah, let's see how this goes. And then looking at the back here, nothing too special here. We do have these parts that move up and down a little bit, so yeah. Now once again, it's been a long time since I've seen the anime, so I kind of forgot some specific terms about these parts here. But once again, oh well. Alright, now for the shoulders. I was actually really curious. We're kind of wondering how they were going to do this part, but luckily and thankfully it's a color separated piece instead of a ugly yellow sticker being on here. So front to back, so they did a pretty good job here. And these are supposed to work as like shields if I remember correctly. But once again, there are other purposes for these as well, and they do move. So let me just take this entire piece off to show you guys how this works. So once again, here we have the part here, we have the middle part here, and then we have these smaller pieces that connects these other parts here. So you can see you can move one here, and then to move this, you have to move this here. So you have these middle parts here, and this is the main joint that connects to the shoulder. Whoops. Which the shoulder has this part here. So you can see, I'm not sure why they left this connecting point here. I think they could have just gotten rid of that. But once again, then again, this could be from a different part, from a different unit, so who knows. But once again, you do have the up and down movement here, and then because of the way how it's connected, you can rotate this part itself. But once again, the only downside is that because this part does not use any polycap, it's just pure plastic. So once you have it connected, you can move it all the way you want, but once again, it does pop out a little bit easily. So not that it just pops on its own because of the way how the plastic to plastic style connection. Yeah, it's just easy to disconnect. Let's just put it that way. And once again, the shoulders are your typical Iron Blood Orphan styles or frame style connecting points here. And now, despite having different shoulders, the arm itself build are both exactly the same on each. Well, not exactly the same, but once again, they have a same base form here. But once again, on this side, you have this extra arm guard here. So I'm not sure why this is exactly necessary, but once again, it exists. So once again, despite having different shoulders, I'm just gonna take this off for now for your reference. They both have the same articulation here, so you can bend both ways as well. And going to the side, now for this shoulder should be no problem. You can go all the way up. Now for the other shoulder, kind of similar, but you can see kind of less because of this is more of a design flaw. But once again, the problem is if you have this thing on, you want to kind of give up on that whole idea, because once again, I mean, you can still go up, but once again, I don't think it's really necessary for it to go all the way up. If you want to go up, you want to make sure you're moving the shoulders together, not this thing itself. If you do move this thing itself, it's gonna pop out. So you know how it works at this point. So once again, just wanted to show that they have almost equal amount of articulation, so no need to worry about that. Let me just get this off because it's getting in the way. And then bend-wise, same amount. Rotation 360 is also possible. Hands are your typical ball jointed hands. And then shoulder-wise, articulation-wise, you do get a forward and backward movement a little bit because of the way it's connected. And 360 is also possible on both arms, so no need to worry about that aspect. Now I'm just gonna take this off for now, and let's see what we got. So once again, we have these side skirts and back skirt. Now back skirt doesn't move too much, it's just a single piece just connected there, so it doesn't really move. Now the side skirts, they're actually connected to the side area, so the main leg joint, and they're connected as, once again, plastic ball joints, but you have to really push it all the way in to have a very stable connection. And yeah, so which is why they are kind of hard to pop out. So once again, this because it's connected not onto the waist but onto the leg itself, they will move together with the leg itself. So going forward, no problem. Going backwards, a little bit slightly problem because of the back skirt is blocking the way. So that's that. And going to the side is this is actually going to hinder a little bit. So going to the side is possible, but not all the way because of this design here. And then bend wise, you do get a very nice bend going on here, no big deal. Now the front part, they covered up very well, and if you go look at the back, not so much. But once again, I guess that's the way how it is for Iron Blood Orphan kits as well. And then feet wise, once again, this is one of those complicated high heel type feet. So number one, you have this joint here that connects the feet to the leg. And then number two, you have another joint that goes allowed to go forward and backward as well. And then now you have this front heel, I think, that for some reason moves forward and backward. It even goes down. So once again, if you want to have it on the ground, it has to look something like this, so that you have a straight, surface area as well. And then you can make it stand. Now making it stand is possible, but once again, there are certain times where this does get a little bit frustrating, or while it stands, it's just a matter of does it look clean, or does it look like agitated like that. So just make sure once you have it on the ground, make sure everything is aligned perfectly to less have that awkward look. Alright, so we've seen the basics of the unit, so there's only two things to show is the weapons. So let's start with the separated ones because they're the easy ones to use. Now, for some reason, while each hand is exactly the same, the right hand seems to be a little bit on the loose side. So once again, I can just plug these in either way, and they're good to go. This one, pretty stable connection. It doesn't have that shaky moment, but once again, if I put this one in this hand, it's very loose, and you can see it's all wobbly going on here compared to that one. So I actually wanted to see if this one also, once again, it's just the right hand. So maybe the size is slightly different, or who knows. But once again, I did use the right hand a lot, which is why it may have made it loose. Once again, holding the weapon is no problem. You can hold it in either way if you want to do so. And once again, even with this whole cape thing going on here, you should have no problems holding the weapon as well in this form. And then finally, keep in mind, you do get this as a separate. So technically, if you want to use both, you can do that as well. And then finally, the weapon. So to use the long version, you have to go through the overall annoying process of let's take off the handguard, and then connect it, and then reconnect the handguard. So I'm not the biggest fan of this, but once again, it's the best way for now. So once again, once you have it here, it's pretty good. But once again, because of my right hand being slightly loose, it's a little bit on the janky side. But once again, it gets the job done. So very cool looking weapon. I'm just kind of curious how this would have fired the dainsleif. Alright, and that is pretty much it for the review. So once again, if you are still a fan of the Iron Blood Orphan series, and if you plan to collect all the kits out there, I think this would make a very good collection here. And if you're just a fan of like mecha or certain mobile suits having a concept, like a knight concept, archer concept, this is also a pretty good, I would say a very cool design here. I've always been a fan of like knight design mechs, so I'm a big fan of those as well. So this is also no exception. While it doesn't exactly 100% look like the typical knight, I can kind of see what type or design they were going for. Anyway, that was pretty much it for the review of the P-Bandai Exclusive HG Oltlinde. If you guys got any questions or requests, leave a comment below. I still have more stuff to buy and build and make reviews out, so please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time.